But Savitri answered from her violent heart. Her voice was calm, her face was fixed like steel. Her voice was calm. She has already that yogic quality in her, Savitri. In spite of such a future being told to her, she remains calm. Is that not something very tremendous as a spiritual quality? It is. The word I have spoken can never be erased. The truth once uttered from the earth's air effaced, my mind forgotten, sounds immortally, forever in the memory of God. Now she is giving the example, once the dice fall by the hand of fate in an eternal moment to God. Yes, the dice can fall only once. You cannot do it again. The chance is gone. She is giving that example. In Vyasa Savitri, she gives 3 examples. She says, when the ancestral property is divided amongst the sons, this part for this, this part for this, this part for this boy, etc. Once the property is divided among the sons, then it cannot be reunited. Division is permanent. That is the social standard, you see. It is divided. That is one example she used. Then the second example she uses, the moment the philanthrope gives some charity to somebody, he does not claim it back. Given. Given. Do not claim it back at all. Money is given. Do not claim it back. The third example she gives, the way you throw the dice, your chance is gone. Finish. Whatever comes, comes. Now, of those 3 examples, we have here one. In this case. My heart has saved its troth to Satyavan, its signature adverse fate cannot efface. Those who shall part who have grown one being within. See, can they really part if they have grown one within? This is her question. We have grown within one. Finish.
It's almost opposite of the example.
Pardon?
It's almost the opposite of example of Vedavyasa, where he said once it is divided, it cannot be united.
Yeah.
She's saying once it is
united,
it cannot be divided.
That's right, exactly. Yes. But the beauty here is, yeah, that's true. One who shall part, who has grown one within. The whole issue is within 3 hours they have grown one. They met just for 3 hours. Who have grown one being within. See? So can it happen within 3 hours?
It can happen in 3 minutes. Can happen in 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this also implies basically that with that power of love which now got awakened in her, she has recollected the entire memory of the past. The entire past is now standing in front. Yes, through ages and ages and ages, we have been together. Can we remain separate now? Impossible.
It's not intimacy.
You see? Finished. Finished, yeah. But still, you can dissociate also molecules. You see, you take hydrogen and oxygen, prepare water. From water you can produce oxygen and hydrogen also.
Maybe you have to go to atomic fusion.
Yeah. The chemistry is reversible also, you see. Death's grip can break our bodies, not our souls, etc. Let fate do with me what shall or will or can. I am stronger than death and greater than my fate. Stronger than death. Wherefrom does Savitri know that? A young girl, she says, death is coming, but I know I am stronger than that. She has not done her yoga yet. But the power of love is so strong in her, it got awakened in her immediately. And she says, I am stronger than death. It is the power of love that has really come out and asserts itself that it is stronger than death. So that is the magic of Nara's word. It is because of Nara's announcement, disclosure, that suddenly this memory, this past, everything has awoken in Savitri. Savitri has been set on the path of yoga. And then says, fate's law may change, but not my spirit's will. I know how to change that. And then her mother pleads again, look, Savitri, you are a very brave person. You are talking like an immature person. You are a Brahma. How do you know all that thing, you see? O child, the magnificence of thy soul, dwelling on the border of a greater world, thou lends eternity to mortal hope. When she is thinking that I am stronger than death, she is lending eternity to the mortal hope. She has a hope that she can win over death also. That is the mortal hope. But is that possible? Here on this, etc., she used all those arguments then. And then of course she says, very cleverly as usual, love dies before the lover in our breast. Our joys are perfumes in a brittle vase. O child, wilt thou proclaim, only the gods can speak what thou speakest. You are not a god, you are a human being, and you are speaking like a god here. Who art thou? So thou art human, think not like a god. For man, because you are not a god, for man what is given is reason, pragmatism. Be pragmatic, be true to life, understand that thing, be a human. And she says, because you are human, therefore leave not your goal, the man's goal of life, of reason, led by reason, by rational thought. You follow that and don't run after a beautiful face. If you follow the reason, then is your life a tranquil pilgrimage. Obviously. Follow serenity, tranquil reason. In great, Then Savitri finally says, all right, you have said all those things, but I don't agree with you at all. My will is part of the eternal will. This is the great assertion Savitri is making. My will is part of the eternal will. How does she know that? Again, as I told you earlier, a little while also. She knows it because of the power of love. My will is part of the eternal will. My strength, etc., etc. I had discovered my glad reality beyond my body in another's being. I have found the deep, unchanging soul of love. This is my discovery. Now that is the magic of Nara's world. Savitri is realizing what she has really found because she has told that thing. And then naturally she says, therefore, I have no need to draw back from his arms and the discovered paradise of love and journey into a still eternity. Only now for my soul in Satyavan, I treasure the rich occasion of my birth. Only now he had discovered that. I shall walk with him like gods in paradise. I shall walk with him like gods in paradise. I shall walk with him. Where? Not in paradise. The way the gods walk in paradise, I am not going to walk like that in paradise. I am going to walk like that on earth. Here. I shall walk with him on earth. The way the gods walk in paradise. The way the gods walk in paradise, in that manner I will walk with him. In fact, that is exactly what Savitri is demanding as a boon for the Supreme. The Supreme has told her, look Savitri, you have done a wonderful thing. We have come to the transcendental realm, into this world of beauty, love, joy, happiness and all that. Come and stay here and be happy with your husband, Satyavan, here in this world. Savitri says, no, I don't need that. I want whatever I want for the sake of the earth. I shall walk with him on earth like gods walk in paradise. If for a year, that year is all my life. And yet I know this is not all my fate, to live and love a while and die. That's not all my fate, I know that. For I know now again why my spirit came on earth. She has awakened to the mission of her life. Her avatarhood is coming out to play its role. My spirit came on earth. She says, my spirit came on earth. She is declaring herself as the avatar. Savitri is declaring herself here. Yes, I am the avatar. I have come here for a purpose. You are not aware of it, but I am aware of it now. That is the magic of Narad's word. He has made me aware of my avatarhood and who I am and who is I love. I have looked at him from my immortal self. I have seen God smile at me in Satyavan. I have seen the eternal in a human face. That is what Savitri is asserting. And obviously, then none could answer to her words. Silent they sat and looked into the eyes of fate. What can they do? Savitri is so positive, so firm in the resolve. She has disclosed her avatarhood. Nobody can speak anything now in face of that. She is asserting that I am the avatar. I know what to do. What for I have come here? You have no place in my work, so to say, you see.